maybe still with the Cleveland Browns, but I like it. I like what you're trying to do there.
I said maybe.
I like that.
It's a possibility.
But Jenna, 100% they need a wide receiver. Every team needs a #1 wide receiver that can beat one-on-one. This is a smart organization, but they sound really dumb right now. I'm sorry, for lack of a better terms, like I gotta go with that. This is a smart organization. This is a well-run organization. So I'm baffled by the fact that they continue to double down on this whole Lamar Jackson and running attack. Like, a wide receiver is not going to come there because as a wide receiver, we get paid to catch the ball. So are you going to pay a top wide receiver $20 million to block on first, second, and third down? There's a philosophical issue within that organization when it comes to offense. They need to figure it out. Maybe internally they're having these discussions on what they need to do. They're not just telling us, but they need to figure out how to develop that passing game. If I was a wide receiver and I knew Greg Roman was going to bring me in and say, Brandon, we're going to put you at X, backside, short side of the field. You're going to get one-on-one matchups, and we're going to throw you the ball. When it's first down, and it's one-on-one, third and short, press coverage, one-on-one, you're going to get the back shoulders, the go balls, the slant routes, the 9 stops. I will absolutely go there. This is the perfect place for a wide receiver because you have to think about it. When you're a dog receiver, you're a #1 wide receiver, Nick, you are going to get coverage. You're going to get roll coverage, cover 2. You're going to get a double. You're going to see so much stuff in the red zone. They're going to vice you. So the only thing that can get that coverage off of you is a run game. So when you think about Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens, what have they done the last 2 years? They've done something that no other team has done. They went for 3,000 yards on the ground in back-to-back seasons. So as a wide receiver coming, I'm like, that's where I want to go because I know I'm going to get one-on-one coverage. But Greg Roman has to develop this passing game. If the offense is going to look the same way, no wide receiver will go there, Nick.
Well, yeah, you're going to get one-on-one coverage, but for a long time, the wide receivers at Georgia Tech got one-on-one coverage too, but that's because they never threw him the ball because they were running the triple option. Now, Calvin Johnson did happen to go there, and he turned out all right, but typically, the Ravens run their team like we've seen a ton of great high school teams run, where your best athlete's at quarterback, your next best athlete's at running back, your next best athlete's at fullback, and you're just running the ball 45 out of 50 plays. And I know it's not quite that discrepancy, but that is, compared to what the rest of the NFL does, it kind of is. So I agree with Eric DeCosta. If I'm an offensive lineman, there's no place I'd rather go. Offensive linemen don't like going back on their heels and pass blocking. They want to run block. If I'm a defensive player, of course I want to go there. If I'm a tight end, I think it sounds good. If I'm a running back, you bet. If I'm a wide receiver, I don't know, man. No. And I think the Ravens know it, which is why they've prioritized wide receiver in the draft. After Lamar's first year starting, they drafted Hollywood Brown, in the first round, Miles Boykin in the 3rd round. This past year, they drafted Devin Duvernay in the 3rd round. They've spent 3 top 100 picks on wide receivers in the 2 years of drafts they've had post-Lamar. Because I do think it is going to be hard to convince a wide receiver that it's going to be fun to play there. I think that he looks around and says, I'm going to be asked to do the least fun thing a wide receiver is asked to do, block, and I'm going to not have a ton of opportunities to do the thing every wide receiver wants to do, catch touchdown passes and catch a bunch of passes. So one name that wasn't on the list that I do wonder if they might have an in with is Antonio Brown. Hollywood Brown's cousin. I don't think you're going to have to pay super big dollars for him. But if I'm Chris Godwin, ties do not go to the Ravens, Wilds. The money is going to have to be demonstrably more for me to go there because I feel like my numbers are going to suffer when you consider Lamar has more rushing yards than any receiver has receiving yards since he's been the starting quarterback.
Yeah, the Ravens tax, I didn't think about that. That's super interesting. And I love the Antonio Brown there. But I wonder if and Brandon, you've talked about this, that the wide receiver's future and performance is not in his own hands. that you can sort
That's
of
right.
flare up when you feel like you're being, you know, underutilized. We even saw Hollywood Brown, who was out there for like 90% of the snaps, and he was only throwing a handful of balls. He's like, can you throw me the ball? And I wonder what the Ravens organization looks like, Brandon, when they watch the games on Sunday, and they're like, huh, seems like the ball sure is flying around the field. Seems like Aaron Rodgers had a lot of touchdowns this year. Seems like Tom Brady sure did have a lot of touchdowns. Oh, Russ wasn't in there. Oh, Patrick Mahomes. So 4 of the 5 touchdown leaders were playing this Sunday. Brandon, I don't know how the Ravens watch this weekend's games and still are that committed to the run.
Yeah, well, here's the issue, Wilds. Last year, Lamar Jackson's MVP season, he led the league in touchdown passes. I think he threw, what, Nick, 36, 37 touchdowns, led the league.
36 is right.
MVP.
Yeah.
And that's the issue, is that they're thinking that they can get back to that. They think that they can continue to run the ball the way they are and go back to what that passing game was. But what have I done all year? I've really talked about Greg Roman and his time in San Francisco with Colin Kaepernick. They started off hot, and then they start trending in the wrong direction in every major category for a passing quarterback, because teams know exactly what you're doing. You're too predictable. Go back to the Steelers game this year. What did Lamar Jackson say after the game? He said they were calling out our plays. They knew exactly what we were doing. So this is a huge issue, and that's why I say it's a philosophical issue, because Greg Roman needs to build more chemistry and continuity around what they're doing from the passing game and how it connects with the run game as well.
Yep. And 2 quick points. And if we can get the graphic we started the segment with ready, I'm going to call for it in a second, the one with the 5 receivers. But I think the Ravens need to approach the next regular season the way, well, I'll make that point in a second. The guy on here that I think they should target is Allen Robinson. Because Allen Robinson, no matter what anyone thinks of Lamar, he's not Mitch Trubisky and Nick Foles. And I think they can be like, Allen, I know you think it might not be great here, but you have been great with Mitch Trubisky. So I think like the upgrade for Allen Robinson might be attractive to him. Kenny Golladay maybe as well, but I think Detroit will keep him. But really the point I was going to make, and I'll finish it quickly, is if anyone's ever taken high school foreign language, there's usually a teacher that from day one only talks to you in that language. And you're like, I don't know what you're saying. I don't know what the homework is. I don't know what to do. But it is to prepare you to be better by the end of the year. The Ravens need to approach this next regular season like that, where, you know what? We might start 1-3. But it's going to be because we are trying to get out of our comfort zone. We are throwing the ball a lot. So by the end of the year, we're used to it. So by the end of the year, it doesn't feel like a foreign language. It feels more natural. So I think, Jenna, that's the approach they need to consider taking next year.
For me, it was Mrs. No.